Hi, Poppy Yeager here with This Day in History. April 18th, 1775. William Dawes and Paul Revere have their famous ride through Boston, warning that the British are coming. It's 1775. Tensions are heating up between the British and the colonists, especially in Boston, where a separate government has been set up by the Patriots and a militia has been training in case there's conflict. The British governor of Massachusetts, General Gage, received word from England that he needed to go to Concord, confiscate weapons and ammunition so that the militia would not have access to it. They were also told that they needed to arrest Samuel Adams and John Hancock, who were hiding out in Lexington. The Patriots got word of this plan when the British set out to follow the rules. As soon as that happened, Dawes and Paul Revere set out. There was that old poem, one if by land, two if by sea. Lanterns were going to be placed in the Boston's Old North Church. And there was going to be one lantern if the British were coming by land, two if by sea. There were two lanterns indicating that the British were crossing the river. Paul Revere and Dawes set out. They got to Lexington. They were able to warn Hancock and Adams. However, Paul Revere was arrested. Dawes lost his horse and had to walk home. Luckily, though, they had met another patriot, Samuel Prescott, along the way, and he was able to get to Concord and raise the warning there. On April 19th, the day after, the British got to Lexington and they found that the Americans, the militia, were there. They warned the militia to leave. The militia did not listen, at least not at first. And then slowly they started to disperse. But in dispersing, a gun went off. Nobody knows whose gun went off, but after that first shot, gunfire followed on both sides. Musket smoke filled the field. The revolution had started. Anyway, that's This Day in History, April 18th, 1775. Paul Revere, William Dawes have their famous run through the night, warning that the British are coming. This is why we have the Second Amendment, because the militia was important. We never would have won the war if we didn't have a militia. The militia needed to be armed. The intent of the Second Amendment was protection, defense, not individuals being able to go off and shoot schools or office buildings or whatever else they wanted to shoot up. The Second Amendment, the meaning of it has changed, and not for the better, because people don't know their history. The Battle of Lexington and Concord occurred because the British were trying to steal the ammunition and the weapons that the militia needed in order to fight for their independence.